Hi, I am Becky Meagher, and welcome to Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Transitions. We go through so many transitions in our life, and I like to use the metaphor of triathlons, something that I've been doing about 13, 15 years. In a triathlon, the first thing you do is you swim, and then you get into a transition area, and then you bicycle, and then it's a transition again, and then you run. So it's what our life is. We change from one thing to another, and we have an interesting group of people today, and we're going to be talking about fly fishing. Fly fishing, the beauty of fly fishing. I'm a member of the Music City Fly Girls. And the Fly Girls, all the people here are Fly Girls. And also we're going to be talking about a transition when you have an illness. And that illness can be something like breast cancer. And that can be combined with something like fly fishing. And we're going to explore that. Does this sound intriguing? It is an intriguing show. So the first thing I'm going to have is our crew here introduce themselves. We're going to go down the row, and then we'll come back again. So, Charlie Hale, tell me your name.
My name is Charlie Hale, and I've been a fly fisherman with the Music City Fly Girls since 2010.
All right.
And my name's Carol Topping, but I go by Top, and that's what everybody calls me. And I've been in the Music City Fly Girls since 2007.
My name is Jean Kincaid, and I've been with the Music City Fly Girls for just about a year now. So pretty new member, new to fly fishing.
Susan Blanton, and just a little over a year too, so very new to fly fishing.
All right. So we have a bunch of fly fishing women here and different stories, and we only have 25 minutes to talk about it. So, Charlie, tell me about your experience with the Music City Fly Girls. Tell me what they are and about the beauty of fly fishing to you.
Okay, that's very easy to do. The Music City Fly Girls are a group of ladies who get together on a regular basis throughout the year, every year, and we go fishing to lots of different places in the community, outside of the community, and to other states.
And you're based in Nashville.
We're based out of Nashville in Music City, thus the Music City Fly Girls. We are a very close-knit group of women, no drama. Everybody enjoys being with and there for each other. Very supportive, wonderful, wonderful group of women. Probably the best thing that's ever happened in my life next to my children.
That's a strong
Yeah,
thing.
they came into my life at a time that was pretty tough, and my son actually got in touch with our leader, Susan Thrasher, and told her that I was wanting to learn to fly fish, and we had kind of played with it in California, and we weren't too good. So Susan reached out to me, and we just hit it off right off the bat. And when you meet these women, you are never a stranger. From the very first time that you go and you meet the Music City Fly Girls, it's like you've always been with them. You know, you're never made to feel like you're not welcome or not a part of, or standoffish, nothing like that. And when I got involved with the Fly Girls, I had always fished, just not fly fished, all my life with my father, my grandfather, and my husband, my children, everybody, And then when I got involved with the Music City Fly Girls and I started learning to fly fish, I found almost a serenity that I tell people it's hard to describe. It's almost spiritual, because when you're out there on the water, you don't think about anything else. You are out there, and it's you and nature and God and friends, and you just are there. All the troubles that you have go away. You just automatically become involved, and it just takes you to a place of peace. I don't know how else to put it. And I have a lot of stress in my life, and that's something I need. So it's been just a godsend for me. And the women have been supportive in every way of my life, not just on the fishing bank, but in every aspect of my life. And the best friends I've ever had. They're day or night, 24/7. You know, I try to be for them. They are there for me. It's just a wonderful, wonderful group of women. And there's just nothing you can say about what it's like when you build your own fly. You put on your own fly.
That's a little fly, a little thing that looks like a fly, and it's got a hook on it, right? For
An
all those who
imitation
don't know what
fly
she's
made out of
talking about.
materials. And you cast that out into the water, and that trout comes up, or whatever fish you're catching at that particular time, and they take your fly, and it's just the adrenaline. There's just no way to express it, you know. And I don't get bored in fly fishing. You know, when you're regular fishing, you throw it out and you sit there and you wait for something to happen. When you're fly fishing, you're constantly moving.
You're casting.
And you're casting, and you're watching your line, and you're thinking about where it's going to land and how it's going to land and what's going to happen when it lands. You know, it's just like I said, it's almost spiritual. It's hard to explain until you've done it. And I always thought it would be too hard and too technical, and I wouldn't be able to do it. And I still have a lot to learn, but it's definitely something that I would recommend anybody should at least try. It's just amazing.
And I have to tell the TV audience, I am a member of the Music City Fly Girls, and I do fish, not as much as I'd like to, but and you don't even have to fish because it's a very social group, and very, very supportive. And another aspect of this, and also we just did another show that on one of the founders of Music City Fly Girls, Susan Thrasher, and you've got to see that show also, which is an amazing story in itself. But speaking of people that may not fly fish but are involved, we have Top here, and tell us about your Casting for Recovery, which is a whole other thing we haven't even talked about, and tell us what that is involving women that fly fish, because I believe you don't fly fish really, but you are a psychologist that help women with Casting for Recovery who've had breast cancer, and this is such an important nonprofit. Tell us about that.
Okay. It's true, I don't fish. I'm one of the only fly girls that doesn't fish, but they still accept me, and I really appreciate that. I got involved with Casting for Recovery, which is like our philanthropy, and it fits totally with fly fishing. It was a surgeon and a fly fishing guide that got together and decided that that would be a good exercise for breast cancer survivors because it helps rebuild the soft muscle in a very gentle way. And like was said on your other session, we have Casting for Recovery retreats in I think 40-something states.
40 states, okay.
And there's sometimes more than one. And Tennessee has two. We have the East retreat and the Mid Tennessee, Middle Tennessee retreat. I'm trying to think what else. Well, we have people who have just been diagnosed and are still on chemotherapy who come, and we have people who are 20 years out, who are survivors of 20 years out, to give people who have breast cancer some hope. I think that's probably the best way I can explain that.
And it's a free weekend of fly fishing, usually at a lodge, right? A lodge.
Or a bed and breakfast.
And bed and breakfast. And everything is included. Your food, you're given somebody that will show you how to fly fish.
Right, guide.
And
the equipment.
Equipment. And psychological counseling, and that's where you come in, right?
Well, I'm not certified as a therapist anymore, but and I don't know how much counseling I do, basically. I think they counsel each other. I'm not a breast cancer survivor, but I like to say that I facilitate the group sessions. We have an evening gathering and a morning gathering. But what I have found as the facilitator of that group is that a lot of women do not share the fact that they have breast cancer. They've never talked to anybody about it because women are the caregivers and they don't want to worry people, and they just kind of internalize it a lot. And so getting together to talk to another woman who has had breast cancer seems to be very therapeutic. And we kind of, in ours, I've always thought of Gilda Radner and how she said laughter was the best medicine. And so I tried to keep it kind of upbeat, and there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of tears, there's a lot of people who, those 14 women, 14 women are in every retreat who are chosen in a lottery, actually become their own support group. And it's, for many of the women, it's the first support group they've ever had. It's up to the women if they want to. We have some groups that are very close still, who went through it 5 or 6 years ago and are still very close, and then others where they've taken maybe one person or two from a group and they're still close with them, or maybe have let go of everybody, but it's really up to the women.
Wow. And then our next guest, tell us now, you have been, and you are a cancer survivor, and you have been to a casting recovery camp,
Right.
right, a weekend. Can you tell us about that?
Right. Well, I got interested in fly fishing. I thought it sounded like a great activity for me to totally check out from work. And so then I heard that the Music City Fly Girls, I went to 3 local fly shops in town. They all said you need to meet Susan Thrasher with the Music City Fly Girls.
Wow.
So I was trying to meet up with the group, and I found out that they were doing a gift wrapping fundraiser event. So I said,
at Orvis.
even at Orvis, even before I was a member, I said, well, I'll volunteer. I want to help wrap gifts. And I didn't even know what they were raising money for, but I found out that it was Casting for Recovery, and the person who was coordinating it was a breast cancer survivor and was telling me about the program. So I said, well, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and she's like, you should apply for the program. I said, oh, well, it's been a few years now, it's behind me. But she said, no, I think you should apply and see if you can get invited. It's totally random who gets invited. So I didn't get invited at first and was very disappointed, because the more I learned about it, the more I wanted to participate. And then I was an alternate. So somebody dropped out, and I got a call that said, do you want to go? And I said, yes, I want to go immediately. So I went, and from the second I pulled into the driveway, I was totally pampered all weekend. It was an amazing experience for me. And I have become friends with my roommate. She's not a Music City Fly Girl, but we still meet for lunch occasionally and keep in touch. It was really great. And I do remember Top's evening that we all sat in a room and shared our own story. And I remember one of the other gals, that was my roommate, came in a little bit late, and she said, well, what did everybody say? And I said, every story is unique. Every story is different, but we have a common bond. And that's what I thought was so amazing. And so by then I had joined as a fly girl and have loved being in the group. It's been very welcoming, non-judgmental. When I fish, I don't catch very many fish, but I absolutely love being on the river. I like wading in the river. I like kayaking in the boat, and sometimes I'm not very coordinated yet to do both fish and kayak, but I enjoy all of it, and I enjoy the breaks when we stop along the river and eat lunch, and I'm looking forward to my first trip with the Fly Girls.
And when will that be?
That will be in August to Wyoming. So I'm super excited.
Woo! Yeah, I heard that sold out real quick. Yeah, what fun.
Yeah.
Wow, well, thank you. And Susan,
Yes.
tell us about your experience going to a camp, and I believe you went to 2 camps, so tell us about that, the first one and the second one.
I did. I got to go to one camp that was amazing. Everything Jean just said.
And where was that?
In Knoxville. It was the East Tennessee, and Top was there, and it was amazing. We're pampered. We're taught to fly flies and fish with the guide, and all the, just so pampered, and to have the connections with all the ladies. And then on that particular retreat, which is unique, we got to keep our fly rods. And I thought, wow, I know, that was spectacular. And then because my cancer is metastatic, I was diagnosed stage 4 in 2011. And so the leader of that particular retreat said, you need to, I didn't know at that time there was a metastatic one. And she says, I said, I could never go a second time because it was just so tremendous. And she said, you need to go, you need to go. So I went to the second one, in Georgia. And then I was just hooked instantly because it was 10 women, and it was, again, just totally pampered, and they just taught us so much, not just the fly fishing, but just the connection with everyone. And then I went to, that was in October, and then I went to my first Fly Girls thing in November just to kind of check it out. And like Charlie said, I had like 20, 30 women who just wanted to kind of get to know me and my story. And I was like, okay, I was hooked very quickly. And I got my gear that December because I helped paper wrap with you that time. And I was hooked. And so this past Christmas, like most of my gifts were fly fishing gear. And I have a casting lesson in March with Susan that I'm so excited about. But these ladies are so amazing. And this is the beautiful spiritual thing that I think I really experienced in July on the Elk River, where when you're in the water, you don't think about any stresses. You're thinking about the knots, the flies, the beauty, and the women are so amazing. Like, it was the most rejuvenating couple days I really think I'd really had, because I went home and I went, oh, I didn't think about, all the stresses of life. And it is the connection with the women and being in nature and outside, and a challenge, because I'm a science person too. I'm like the challenge of a new skill. It is amazing. It's just, I love it, because I heard when I'm one of my retreats, they said it's like golf. You will never perfect it.
Wow.
Like golf, you'll never just get it just right, other than maybe Susan Thrasher. But generally, you'll never just get it just right. And to get to travel, I got to go to Canada, and that will make me cry. And then I'm going to go to Wyoming, and that's going to make me cry, because I've never been Northwest, and I've traveled a little, but not a lot. So it really is a whole new world for me. And being, I said, stage 4, I didn't even know that I would be here after almost 9 years now.
Wow. Wow.
So I'm beyond grateful for Casting for Recovery and for the Fly Girls.
Right, right. And like when you went to Canada, and that it sounded like that was a real emotional thing. Did you catch any fish? We haven't talked about catching the fish. Nobody mentioned
But
the
you
fish.
know what? A lot of people didn't catch. I was about one of 3 out of 23 that didn't catch anything.
Okay.
But I saw eagles catch fish. And I saw the most amazing scenery, and my boat buddy caught fish. And because it's a challenge. There is a lot of skill. But I had a wonderful guide who my casting changed totally, because he was he looked at me and went, he commented on all this fishing I've done. I said, no, I've never fished. But I realized, I said, well, I kind of grew up playing a lot of tennis. I was out there playing tennis. And you do not play tennis when you fly fish. It's the opposite. But just that visual. So just having the experience of the guides and my casting is totally different. But just being outside, I didn't really care if I caught. I know everybody says, did you catch anything? No, I did have some for sure bites. But
for sure
it
bites.
didn't really matter, because I'm like, it's not about catching. It's just you're in the water, and it's so beautiful. And you've got the connections and the people and the nature, and you're learning the skills. So catching is just sort of that little icing on the cake.
And then when you were out there, did you catch any fish?
No, I don't catch very many fish. At Casting for Recovery, we went to a pond, and I caught, I think, 3 fish. And every one of my fish I catch gets a picture. I don't care if he's only 2 inches long or 20 inches long. He's going to get a picture.
Well, he's a star in your book.
Yeah, and I'm happy.
Yes.
But I'm also just very happy to be out there in nature, in the water, with the others. It doesn't matter whether I catch a fish. That's a bonus. That's icing on the cake. Yeah, for me.
Do you think that Casting for Recovery gets enough publicity? We're trying to use this show to kind of put it out there that this is available. A lot of people that I talk to that have had breast cancer, they go, it is? They have no idea. Do you find that's true?
What I experienced wrapping gifts this year for my 2nd year in a row at Orvis, a lot of people have connections with people who've had breast cancer, and they don't know about the program. So they take a brochure and they're going to tell their mother or their sister or their neighbor or their friend. And so I think that's really cool. And they're all willing to make donations. So I think as we do these fundraisers, we're exposing a lot more people to what we're doing out there and what's available to women who are survivors of breast cancer. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Wow. And Charlie, you have coordinated these camps, right, for a number of years?
Right, I'm the co-coordinator with Susan Thrasher, have been for the last several years, and we try to get the word out as often as we can, through doctors' offices as well, and different, people that we've come in contact with that can help us to put the word out. Word of mouth is a big, big deal. Everybody knows somebody that's had breast cancer. I mean, everybody does, and we find, it's not unusual because there's so many people, to find people that haven't heard of Casting for Recovery, but they do know someone that's had breast cancer. So I catch myself in the grocery store, in Goodwill, in the fly shops, anywhere I am, I catch myself talking to people, and it's kind of funny. I met a girl in Goodwill 3 or 4 years ago, actually, really, in Goodwill, and I'm talking to her, and she's helping this lady that she's taking care of that's in a wheelchair. And I was commenting to her that I helped my friend's mother who was in a nursing home, but before that I used to help her with her. And we just got to talking, and somehow, I don't know how, but breast cancer came up. And I think she told me that she had, that she was doing this because she couldn't work full time because she had breast cancer. Long story short, I told her about Casting for Recovery. She signed up for it. She got picked. Not only did she get picked,
wow,
but she came to our retreat, and then we have one big, huge gift that's given at the end of our, we have like a little party luncheon kind of thing at the end of the retreat each time, and we give like a big gift that usually is donated through Casting for Recovery. I don't remember if it's through Orvis or who, but at any rate, she won the big gift.
Wow.
So just from word of mouth.
Wow.
So anybody that can, that knows somebody that's had breast cancer, if they would just go to castingforrecovery.com and read about it, look on there, it's in different states. East Tennessee is TN1, Middle and West Tennessee is together, and it's TN2 if they are in Tennessee, but in other states it'll give the information there, but castingforrecovery.com. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful benefit that the Music City Fly Girls do each year, and other people across other states do as well for these ladies, and then a lot of times here in Tennessee, our participants like these two guys become Music City Fly Girls. So as we see our population of our Fly Girl group has continued to grow and grow and grow, and
right,
very fortunate to have these wonderful ladies as part of our group.
They started in Casting Recovery and then went, oh, I like doing this. Now that I'm trained somewhat,
That's right.
hey.
And they'll catch fish eventually. They will. They do. They just
I've
don't.
caught some. I just
They'll
didn't in
keep catching.
Canada,
They'll get
but
better and
I've
better.
caught
And
some.
by the way, I did catch in Canada, just so you know.
Well, I was gonna,
And I was excited.
I was going to say, now who has caught a fish around here?
I did. I have to
Okay.
say, and I was really excited because it was one of the better fish I've caught in a long, long time. So I was on cloud 9 to say the least.
All right, and then the procedure is you catch the fish and then you document it.
You take the
Who's got the
picture, you
camera?
kiss the fish, you say thank you, Lord, and you put him back in the water.
You kiss the fish.
Well, I do.
Other people do.
Well,
We
and my
kiss our
first
fish.
fish, that my guide she wanted to take a picture, and I said, I don't need a picture. And she said, you have to take a picture. And I was like, I don't understand. And she said, it's a story if you don't. And I went, okay, so I got it. It's a fish story if you don't take a picture.
Oh.
So she made it clear that very first time. So I do have some pictures with trout in my hands. But she said, you have to take a picture. Otherwise, it's just a fish story. No. Okay, I got it.
You've got to document it.
I've got some pictures.
I think Susan's got about 7,000 pictures of fish.
Right, Susan Thrasher, the president of Music City Fly Girls, who has this most wonderful Southern Brookies place on the Caney Fork, which is just fabulous. That's in Nashville. For any of you seeing this who don't know where the Caney Fork is, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Becky, can I?
Do you have any more thoughts about why somebody would want to try to join the Music City Fly Girls, and where do they meet? And maybe they might want to go to a meeting and just check it out. I'm a member. It's a wonderful thing. I like it.
Again, I think the camaraderie of the Music City Fly Girls is a big, big piece of it. It's not all about the fishing. It's about the time together. It's about the friendships made. It's about the specialness of the group. We meet once a month, the third Thursday of each month. Right now we're meeting at Boomba's Pizza over in East Nashville. We have social hour and eat from 6 to 7, and then we have a meeting from 7 to 8 or 8:15.
A speaker?
We have a
can be-
speaker. Sometimes we do presentations, sometimes of somewhere we've been, and show pictures of, like when we went to Canada, we did a presentation of, Canada and what happened there and that. It's just, it changes, whatever, if something's planned and it falls through, there's always something else to take its place because there's always something going on. We do tie flying on, did I say that right?
You did.
Fly flying.
I always get it backwards.
We always say fly tying.
I know, I do.
Okay, so
Or
there's
we do
also
that on Tuesday nights.
on Tuesdays for
Mhm,
now.
and
then-
that's at Pizza Real.
And there's the website that you can go on. And then once you become a member, it's a really cool thing. There's a little app that you can go on, the Music City Fly Girl app on your phone, which can tell you a whole lot of things too, with pictures and some of the outings. It's just pretty,
Keeps us
pretty-
organized.
very organized.
Makes it a little easier. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're all busy. Everybody has life going on,
Right.
and we have families and we have jobs and we have, things that have to be done. So the team app makes it a lot easier for everybody to just put stuff out there, and we have our events and we have our, the details of the events, and, we can have a chat, whatever we need to do,
Well, that's Music City Fly Girls and Casting for Recovery. And on our credits, we'll have, again, how you can contact both organizations. So thank you, ladies. Thank you very much for your wisdom and fun. And that's Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Thank you.